for November 30th to order. Roll call, please.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman,
Present.
Cawthorn, Gage Watts, Escudate, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Epperson.
Yeah.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, Commissioner Bowman, would you lead us in invocation, and Commissioner Cox, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure can, sir.
Please stand.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come today with bowed heads and humble hearts. Lord, just thanking you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all the days that you present before us, God. Allow us to make all decisions that would be best for the citizens, Lord, and let it be, again, productive and progressive for the parish. God, we just thank you for grace and mercy, and that you extended upon all, not only members, but everyone who works for the parish and the city and the state. These are the blessings we ask, thank you in your Son, Jesus' name, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. If everyone will please face the flag, render the proper salute, and repeat after me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item,
We have agenda additions.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion to expand the agenda to add authorization of the visitor to work session agenda.
Second.
Make it two. I want to ask Swag Nation Board of Directors, some from Dallas and here as well. Sure.
Second.
So we have,
We're gonna amend that motion?
We need to do them separate. We need to do them in separate motion, sir.
so we have a motion to expand the agenda for the authorization of the visitors. And I got a second by Commissioner Watts.
Correct.
So let's vote to expand the agenda. Who's the visitor? Well, that's the next motion.
Be nice to know.
Okay, it's for 4-H. It's Karen Pace for 4-H. It helps? Okay. Let's vote. That passes to extend the agenda for that. Now we need to put it under new business? Or business?
Yes,
Put it
yes,
under business.
So moved.
So, got a motion to put it under new business, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Let's vote on that. That passes 11-0. Now we have a second
Agenda addition.
agenda addition for Swag Nation.
The board, they hear from Dallas, Texas, some of
I
them. So
second the motion.
Been moved by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Dominique to add Swag Nation to our visitor agenda. See no one wish to speak on that. Let's vote. That passes 11-0 as well. So both of those will be added to our visitor section. Next item.
Next, we have citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward to myself or the clerk of the commission. Comments, any citizens will be limited to 3 minutes. All these were actually Swag Nation that was going to talk on the citizen comments. So they'll be moved down to visitors. So we have no citizen comments. Next item.
Next time we move to visitors, Ms. Stacy Brown, Shreveport-Bossier Convention and Tourism Bureau.
Yay. Please silence all cell phones in the chamber. Thank you.
Tell me you got.
I'm just talking to people in the chamber too.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, President Johnson, Dr. Wilson. Appreciate y'all allowing me to come before you today to give you a little update on tourism and some of the things that are happening in our area, and also to present our 2016 budget. I'd like to also thank you for your appointment of Kelly Morris and for her service. She couldn't be with me today.
No.
Oh, okay. But she is happy to serve in your place, in your stead, and does a great job for you. One of the things I've done today is you've got the 2016 budget, but I also passed out some various brochures that we produce. Part of what we do at the Bureau is produce a lot of collateral material to encourage people to come to Caddo and Bossier parishes whether it be for their meeting or convention, their sporting event, for just leisure visits, for gaming visits. So I've passed a few things around, some for our Christmas, some free things to do, some of our general brochures, and y'all are welcome to pass those around so you can see a little bit. But I also have a brief video to show you today. This is a new one that's produced specifically for the conventions and meetings market. So it shows some of our facilities. This is the convention center. Some of the things that we can do with our flexible space. Talks about our hotel rooms. And of course, some of the things to do, because people like to go to a convention where they can also have a good time. We actually have two versions of this video, one that has the gaming and racing and one that doesn't. So if it's for a religious market, we also have the materials to satisfy them as well.
Has to be there too.
And of course, one of the main things people do when they come in from out of town is go shopping. So we like to make sure they're aware of all the shopping opportunities.
Was that me making that putt?
Galleries and museums, the different things that they can see. And of course, highlighting the food. We have a special rewards program for those that are bringing meetings and conventions, ways that we can assist to make sure that their convention is a success. In fact, we're helping with the upcoming Police Jury Association meeting with Commissioner Cox, and appreciate y'all allowing us to host that here in Shreveport-Bossier. It is a great asset to our community to be able to host events like that, because our convention years that come into the market, not only do they go to the meetings, they also obviously go and spend money in our community, buy gas, buy food, go to many of our attractions, and also spend some time at the gaming establishments. So they leave some tax dollars behind, which is really important. Well, as you can tell, we have a true passion for what we do at the Bureau, and it's very important to us that we provide a great economic impact on our community. So there are a number of ways that we do that, but we can also tell that you have a great passion for our community by the things that you do. The infrastructure that you provide, the great work that you do at the many parks and facilities, the sporting facilities, the Earl Williamson Park, and many others. Those things that you do are great for our local citizens, but they're also reasons to attract visitors to our area. You know, a visitor doesn't want to come where there are a lot of potholes, where there are a lot of lights that are out, where there are facilities that aren't well taken care of. So those are all things that need to be taken care of for our visitors as they come into our areas. So we appreciate what you do there. Each year we really take a step back and look at what we've done to see what's been effective, what could we change, how could we do things differently, and we bring in an outside consultant to help work with us. This year we used a company called Strategic Action Group. They really work with bureaus. Most of them are larger than ours because we want to stretch and grow and look at things that we could do differently. So they came into our market. They discussed not only with our bureau staff, but with our board and many community leaders as well. What are some things that we're doing? What can we do differently? We're headed on the right track on a lot of things, but one of the things that we found that we could do differently was some of our reporting and our communications with you. So we're working on some new dashboards and ways that we can communicate with you effectively and quickly to show you how we are doing as far as our goals and in tourism, to make it a quick read for you, something that you could receive on a regular basis to keep you updated, and then also to interface with you on things that you can do to help attract those tourists as you're working on your budgets and your programs as well. So we're going to be making those changes. 2015 has been another landmark year of hosting some great events. As you all know, when you bring somebody that's never been here into our community, they always say, wow, I had no idea. So we may have been meeting with them at a trade show for a number of years, but until we get them into Shreveport-Bossier, they really don't know what we have to offer. And a good part of that is the wonderful people that we have, and the great customer service and just really Southern way of life. Well, we've been able to bring 3 of those great meetings here. One of them was Travel South. It's the 3rd largest travel trade show in the country, where we brought in tour operators that have the opportunity to bring 1 or more motor coach to our area. So we brought those into our area, had their best event ever. According to their scores and their 25-year history, the only one that has tied with us is New Orleans. So that's a great asset to us to bring those people here, and we've already started booking some groups because of that. We also this fall hosted the Sports Relationship Conference, and for that we brought in what we call sports rights holders. These are people who put on sporting events and you usually have to bid on them and try to win them into your community. Again, we got the opportunity to showcase them what some of our facilities are, what a great community we have, and why they should consider Shreveport-Bossier for their sporting events. The other one is by working with travel writers and media on developing our culinary scene. We hosted an Eat Here event, which we sold out in less than 24 hours, but we also brought in some key media people to cover our culinary scene in Shreveport-Bossier. As we know from talking with others and looking at the history across the United States, people are traveling more and more for culinary. They want to eat great foods and local foods and see what we have to offer. So one of the things we've done is our Eat Here guide, and I actually don't know if I brought any of those with me, but we've also done some recipe cards and worked with a number of our local chefs to really highlight them, and they're seeing more business because of it. Eddie's Barbecue is an example. Great chef, has done some wonderful work. If you've never eaten there, you definitely need to. And because we've highlighted him, he has seen an increase in his business. And so we're trying to do that with more and more restaurants. In working with our attractions, we've also tried to help them find other revenue streams. As you know, grants, not only from public agencies, but even from private agencies, are getting smaller. So they need to find other ways to drive revenue. So we've been working with them on developing new group tour experiences. So this year we've worked with Agora Borealis, Louisiana State Exhibit Museum, the Southern University Museum of Art, as well as Chef Hardette, to develop some special group experiences that they can go out and sell to bring in more revenue, not just to groups from outside the market, but for local groups as well. And we're seeing that many of our attractions have very limited budgets, very limited staff, and so we're asking them to stretch what they do. Many of them are not used to doing sales calls and doing advertising, and so we're helping them to develop those skills and learn how they can do that better. Through these programs, we work to develop our destination and take an active role in supporting our infrastructure. There are other areas that we work on as well, and we work quite a bit in partnership with a number of organizations. Louisiana North, the Holiday Trail of Lights, and the Boomer Bus Byway. The Boomer Bus Byway is one that you've been working with us on, and I'd like to say a special thank you to Dr. Wilson and Henri Wesley, as well as Todd, for helping us with that. We have been able to develop a number of things along the byway, which is Highway 3049 and Highway 2 in Caddo Parish, going through Bossier, Claiborne, and Webster parishes as well. We are currently working on a signage program, working with the Louisiana Office of Tourism and DOTD with some actual federal funds that we've been able to get. So I'm not asking for any money. We just ask for your input and support of those projects. So it's been really a great asset. A key division of the Bureau, of course, is the Sports Commission. And you are a major part of that, and want to say a special thank you to Commissioner Escaday and Ken Ante as your appointees onto that commission. This year, some special things that you worked specifically with were the ABA Championships, the USSSA Super Invitational, and the Louisiana High School All-Star Basketball Games for the boys and girls. You've also been instrumental in working with Thunder Roads Raceway, and we've helped them as well to establish themselves. They're really seeing some good growth out there, and we appreciate all that you do for them. Within the sports department in the Bureau's budget, you will see the staffing, the sales, the trade shows, the travel, and the advertising that's involved in securing those events. In the Sports Commission budget, that's where you see the actual putting on of the events, so the bid fees that we have to pay. Sometimes we have to assist with transportation or meals or hotels, and those are all within that Sports Commission budget. As you know, we appreciate your help in getting the additional tax passed, and that did pass. So that additional funds will go straight into the Sports Commission budget into actually securing those events. As you know, we've developed most of 2016 already. Most of those events have already been bid. So most of what we're bidding on with this additional funds is 2017 and beyond. So we're excited about being able to do that. Overall, in the budget, we are projecting to be basically flat with our revenue compared to our budget. However, we have reduced our expenses by about 8.4%. If you look in the detailed budget, you can see our revenue is increased about 8.1% compared to our 2015 actual projected revenue, and our expenses are also reduced. Again, Council, President Johnson, I appreciate y'all allowing me to come before you today, and be glad to answer any questions that you may have. And also want to point out one of the little postcards I gave you is for our open house. That's this Friday, and we would love to have you come. We always have some great food at that event as well.
Okay. Stacy, what I would like to see next year is like a list of events, sporting events that you're bringing to Shreveport, Bossier for 2016.
And I do actually have a list of events with me that are for 2015, if you'd like to see the ones that we've assisted for this year.
Okay.
I can leave those with Todd, and he can make copies for y'all.
That'd be fine.
Be glad to do that.
Okay. I don't see anybody else on the board. Mr. Bowe?
I just want to say keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. And I heard that
Well, I ain't get a chance. I ain't
during
got
the
3 more
pledge.
days. Let me get my talking in.
Okay. Yes. Commissioner Cawthorn?
Yes. I'd like to thank Stacy for coming down, and I want to publicly say to her that they do an excellent job every year getting volunteers for the Independence Bowl. You know, I work with the SEC Hospitality all the time, and you guys have done a real good job in assisting us with volunteers. Keep up the hard work. I'm going to need additional volunteers this year.
Well, and I would like to say that the Independence Bowl itself directs most of those volunteers. We help a little bit, but they do the lion's share of that work, and they do a terrific job. But we do help many other sporting events with volunteers as well.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Commissioner Evers?
Stacy, I didn't, how do you consider the state fair? Is it, I didn't see anything in the video. Do you have anything?
Yes, we do. Now, that event, that was strictly geared towards meetings and conventions, although we do work with them on some meetings and conventions as well. We do work quite a bit with the State Fair, and they are in our promotional materials. We do work with them on other more tourism-oriented events.
So they are in.
And they are in the regular tourism video. Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, I want to echo the sentiments around this horseshoe on the work that you have done. I look forward to the great opportunity you're going to be doing in the near future. However, I do want to be more inclusive when it comes to minority vendors and contractors. You know, there's a lot of minority events that come here. We want to ensure that we represent the diversity of our community, our parish, to ensure that
Absolutely.
we're equalizing opportunities for everybody. It doesn't make sense for all these great things that happen, and the people that bring the events here are not even benefiting from it. So, well, I appreciate all the great tourism, and the cornerstone for any community has been the downtown. And they be focused on uptown, where Commissioner Dominique live. You know, with the I-49 coming up there, we're going to need a lot more attention up north.
Don't forget Christmas on Caddo this
Down where Ken
weekend.
Epperson live, down south. So I know downtown is a cornerstone, but uptown and down going west also needs some attention. So I
Absolutely.
just want everybody to think downtown is the only part of Caddo Parish, but we got some great things going over in north, and we got some great things going on in south. So it need to be uniformity where people can go not only just down, but they can go up north and look to the hot rods. They go down and look into the little zoo they got down there with the alligator farm and all that down there. So promote
Absolutely.
everything about what's going on in Caddo Parish, and I'm excited. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think that's it, Stacey.
All right.
Done?
Thank you very much.
Ticket when I come up there.
Next, we have the Swag Nation Board.
That's good, y'all. Don't be afraid.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Lester Smith. I reside at 4148 Theo Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71109. I am currently I'm Vice President and Secretary for Swag Nation. We've had some turmoil times in the last year or so, and we're still interested in letting Swag Nation continue the services that it was came to this board to produce. We are a for-profit organization, and Swag Nation has not been a victim of any scam, any crimes that I know of. I've been a part of the board from the startup, and I'm not aware of anything. And there is a victim. I consider Commissioner Williams as a victim, but be that as it may, I'm here to represent Swag Nation and the going forward of Swag Nation. And we have done some reorganizing, restructuring our organization. We have our new program director, Ms. Prudham. We have our publicist, PR person, and we have our part of our management team, Mr. Anthony here. And we want to continue because the program is needed in this area. We have not saw any decrease in any of the activities that Swag Nation was designed to try to deter. We know that the recidivism, addiction level at the juvenile justice has been reduced, but we want to continue it at that level, maybe to its non-existing. And Swag Nation is a good franchise, and we have been, we've gone through some stuff, but I mean, most companies go through things in the startup years. And we just want to continue to provide the services that we were brought before you all to provide. And I just want to let you hear word from some of the board members as to where we're headed with this, because Ms. Putin, she was part of the original board of directors.
Actually, I was an instructor with the etiquette program. So now I've been promoted to director of projects. What we will offer is social skills, etiquette and protocol, business development, and at-risk behavior intervention. So those are some of the things we will offer the students in our program.
Hi, my name's Anthony Mata. I'm from Dallas, Texas, Grapevine, 3713 Oakwood Drive. I'm here to talk a little more about what we're doing here, do a little more into business development, and actually give a little more structure and see what is lacking. This community needs a little more lift up like Dallas does. We've seen a lot of Dallas kids come up and actually grow and benefit from these programs, and I'm sure this program here will benefit as well. This city needs to grow. This city has a small town feeling still. It still needs to grow and then still have the community get back together. We start with the kids. If we start with the kids and they become adults, in turn they'll be a better population for us, because they're going to take over us one day. We're the elders coming up soon, and I guess these kids will here benefit from what we have to offer.
Hi, my name is Gloria Mata. Thank you so much for this time and opportunity to talk to you guys. First of all, I would like to say, every time I go anywhere or do anything in life, I always pray to the Lord, but one of my prayers was, blessed is the Jabez prayer. Bless us indeed, enlarge your territories, place your hands upon us, keep us from harm and evil, and let us have a peaceful life. We're here from Grapevine, Texas, but the Lord, the large territories He entailed us, my husband and I, is here in Shreveport. He keeps bringing us back here. I had a business here, Tax Time. My partner was from Shreveport, and our office was in Cedar Grove. And I told the Lord, it's like, why am I here? I'm not a tax person, but I know why I was here. He enabled to see me, let me see some children when I was going about the neighborhoods. And a couple of kids that I saw, it was a dollar store, just a quick story. The kid he was just trying to buy bread and bologna, and he was using his card. And so I asked the cashier's like, what's going on? It's like, oh, he doesn't have any money on his card. And so I found out the card is like an EBT card. And so I said, just don't worry, I'll take care of it. And I told the young man, it's like, you know, someday when somebody you see like that is in need, just help them out. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what Swag Nation is all about. My husband and I were blessed with 5 kids. I was in the military, and she was talking about the etiquette school, and we were taught to say yes sir, yes ma'am, and I always believe that when you become a positive role model, these children just need a positive role model and somebody to believe in them. And from Texas, sadly, you know, you hear news reports and stuff like that, that Shreveport is this, Shreveport is that, but to me it's not. I see Shreveport as a beautiful city, a diamond in the rough, and I see the children that God has blessed me to see and get to know. Wonderful kids, sometimes they just need that one person to believe in them. And so I was honored to be asked to be the publicist of Swag Nation, and my role entails is we are aware of the issues right now, but that's my role, is to bring the positive effects of Swag Nation, because the victim here are the children. And the children here in Shreveport really needs everybody's love and support, and let them know that people do believe in them, people do care. And so if the kids, we start from the beginning, like we taught our kids, become the positive role model, because they see other role models. And sometimes the role models are bad role models, but be the positive effects. And so when I told the young man, like, help somebody out, that's what it's all about. You help people out so you can elevate each other, so you won't have to use an EBT card. And there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes life does stricken us, and, you know, we have our trials, but everything is a blessing. But I do believe in the children. I do believe in Shreveport, and for us to be effective, we have to be effective and be a positive role model for these children. So I just wanted to share that with you, and thank you so very much for your time.
We thank y'all, and we're just looking forward for the relationship, a lasting relationship, working with you guys, and we hope and we know that what we do will make you all proud. So we ask that you all continue to support us in our efforts and our endeavors. Thank you.
Okay, you got some commissioners that want to ask you some questions or make some statements. Commissioner Cox.
I got a couple of questions, Ms. Putin. You can just so you're now the director of projects. In your vision, what do you see coming up this year?
Well, once we start working with the students, I vision the same thing we had before. We had positive results. We had students to go on and finish school that weren't even in school. So I believe we have positive results.
As far as growth-wise, touching more kids, and what'd y'all do this year, kid-wise?
We haven't done anything this year. Yeah.
Last year.
Last year, we, I think each class we had about 50 students each class, and each one, no one came back and did the program over.
That's good.
So we always receive good results. So, from the students that I kept up with,
yeah.
We all received good results.
Okay. Mr. Anthony? You look familiar. Were you a police officer?
No.
Okay. You just look familiar.
Oh,
yeah, a couple of times. So
not in Texas, was it?
No. Well, we don't want to talk about that. Grapevine. Tell me a little bit more about your background, and I mean, how'd you get back here? I mean,
well, long story short, right? The Lord has brought us back into this area. I'm a business developer. Buy small businesses, buy and sell, as well as a general contractor, and a specialty home builder. And we came in this area, my wife and I came in this area, I guess about 18 years ago. One year we had a really good year. We came in, we went on vacation for about 6 months. We came through here and stopped through the area and said, you know, yeah. We stopped through the area, we had our kids, and I said, you know what, there's a real strong vision we had. Something's going to bring us back as a community. I said, you know, it struck me really hard. It was almost as if it was a loss in our family. That was such a strong vision, a strong feeling And I said, you know, honey, something about this area is going to bring us back to this area. I don't know why I don't like the area. As you know, there was so much traffic, there was so much construction going through the area when this highway was being rebuilt through the area about 18 years ago. And I said, this is such a small little town. This little town, just you can go right through it pretty quick, you know. Nobody pays attention to it, but there's something about this area that's going to bring us back to it. Here we are 18 years later. Our visions have come true. What the Lord has impressed in our hearts to help this community, to help the local kids out here. And that's what I want to bring is the strong business part that my wife have and I have developed throughout Texas and throughout the southern states here, and bring it to this area where it really needs it. So I believe that the children need it. We start with the children, it builds a community.
Yeah.
And it builds our community, we build a better city here.
And so did you have a background in this type, I mean, you're a developer and stuff like that, you had a background in this, or you just?
Yes,
straight
as a
from
mentor. Yes, as a mentor. Okay. We have 5 children, and beyond that, being part of the school board, PDA boards for the Dallas School District, as well as parents, and come in as mentors and speaking before them, and actually having kids come in and calling us mom and dad. Kids that didn't have parents.
Yeah.
Kids that were just out there, that were broken families. Kids that were hungry. Kids that came out there and they still call us mom and dad, and many of them are young adults now.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted your background.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Commissioner Thibodeau.
The program caused this parish and this commission quite a lot of embarrassment. And the reasons are this. Number one, financially, you allowed a person to have access to your bank that had no business having access to your bank account. The person was unauthorized, but yet was able to draw out money. And having conversations with our director, our juvenile services director, about how good the program was, he told me that there were other programs that he had that he would have chosen to spend that money on other than this, but that because the commission had voted to put this into play, he was obligated to follow through with it. But he said he himself would not have chosen this program. The program is a 9-hour program. That's how it's set up. And it's an extremely expensive 9-hour program. And folks, I was a teacher for 25 years. You don't change anybody in 9 hours. You just don't. And you mentioned a minute ago that you started with classes of about 50. You may have started with 50 because the amount of kids that you had show up for the first class, that was the amount of kids you got paid for. But unfortunately, the number of kids that showed up for the first class were not the same amount of kids that graduated. So we ended up paying for a whole lot of kids who never completely went through the program. So to say that there were some problems with the program is certainly an honest statement. Now, of course, I'm going off of this commission, and whoever takes my place may feel different about it. But I think that there are a lot of improvements that would have to be made to this program before I could ever vote or consider spending the parish's money on this type of program. There are just too many loopholes in it that need to be cleaned up. And that's how I feel about it.
Commissioner Ball. Commissioner Bowman.
Yeah, my statement was just basically going from what I experienced, not the politics of what's going on in the background of happening. I just know that what I did witness, as far as the action, I saw and I also met some parents where you all did reach people, and I know some of us commissioners even were invited and spoke at some of these things as well. So from that, once, like Commissioner Tiller said, things are tightened, I think this program is a viable one. I've seen what it's done, and if I hadn't been there personally seeing as well, like some of the other commissioners as well, then it'd be different. I don't know, again, not talking about politics or behind the scene, whatever's going on. What I saw and what you all have done for the kids, that portion I can attest to, when we need programs like that and more around. that will be committed seriously for the welfare of students. That's it, Mr. President.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just say I am proud of the work that we did as a coalition together with the probation officer and department and the people in Dallas and Shreveport and teachers and master teachers and PhDs. And how we had a very inclusive role in developing a model program for kids in America. We did it together. Now, was it perfect? No. No startup corporation is going to be perfect. Was this the most scrutinized vendor in Caddo Parish out of all the vendors we have? Yes, it was. And I just don't believe that Clay Walker said what he said.
I don't lie.
Clay
I don't lie.
Clay Walker was very instrumental in developing the program, some of developing the budget, him and the probation officer together. This is a vendor. It's always been a vendor. Never been a nonprofit. It's a franchise. Developed right here in the headquarters in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is Swag Nation, capital of America. I'm proud of what we've done, and the taxpayer got exactly what they paid for. The kids got what they paid for, because when you provide the service, you get paid for what you do. And he was the gatekeeper of the program. We never heard a complaint. Never heard a complaint about Swag Nation. You know, when you start a business, you have to have startup capital. Somebody have to put up something. You put the time, the resources, and energy. They have policies. I'm not saying that a new startup company don't have problems. I've been in the business sector all my life. I know I'm starting up some business when I leave here. But to say that it didn't produce a high quality service for the students, the recidivism rate is down. It had a diversion program, it's evidence-based, and the parents benefited from along with the kids. We invited every commissioner to come to one of those meetings. And because the spotlight has been on me and controversy, that'll be settled one day, it shouldn't stop the progress of what this program has done for our students and our children, our parents. Every citizen rated down because of all the work we've done together. There's a lot of things that I feel that's out of character up here. But some we have pick and choose on who we don't like and program we do like. But the facts are there. This program is working. And because of my in-battle problem, the program should not stop. The program the funds were allocated in 3 years in a row, so it had to be doing something right. It's unfair to put a negative spotlight on a franchise and a business. This is a business, it's not a nonprofit corporation. To sabotage their efforts, I think is wrong. They send the wrong message to the rest of the people that want to do business in Caddo Parish. Why is it targeted this one program? This one corporation provided professional service, signed a contract with our administrator, and was vetted by the parish attorney and the parish administrator. Why? Why all of a sudden now is because of the issue that's facing, we knew the outcome. What is it? What was it really about? What was it really about? Shame on you that stop progress for children. God is watching. Justice is never being denied. It's just being delayed. And it's unfair in America. You do things to try to help your community improve the quality of life for all children. And unfortunately, those that sit around and mastermind schemes and premeditate schemes to knock a program down and knock the man down too. That's just not right in a country we call America. A person is innocent to proven guilty, not guilty to proven innocent. That is unfair. What kind of country, what kind of city we live in? And I hope that one day, when the second half of this is done in history, that this program would not be tainted like it has been. We ought to be proud. We had other cities wanting to model this program in America. Even went down and met with the current president-elect Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, who wanted it in his community. I put a lot of time, tears, and energy to restore the American values in this community. Sagging to me is one of the worst things our kids do. They're going to be profiled. They don't understand the negative impact that they're promoting when they sag their pants and wear pajamas in the public. This is America, the greatest country on the planet. We ought to restore the American values back into this country, the value that you and I was raised up on in this room. They work for us and they can work for them. But it seems like wrong is right and right is wrong in this country. Promoting so much propaganda to these illiterate children, they can't read and write, don't have a father or mother at home. And we just try to provide some basic fundamental service for them. And it came under attack. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right then, and it's not right now to stop progress. And I hope we bow up and have the courage of Jeremiah, put some iron rod in our back, and stand firm and support the program for the children. It's not about me. You accomplished what you want to accomplish. I'm leaving. You accomplished that. I'm off the commission. Don't tear down the walls of justice for the children. Continue to support this program. They've done everything you asked of them. And I don't think administration is going to do anything against the will of this body to work with a program. It's the only one. You got hundreds of programs here, hundreds of vendors. It's the only one that was singled out. You tell me why. What is the real reason? What is the real reason behind the smokescreen? It's unfair. Don't bow down, people. Stand with me. Stand for right. Stand up for justice. Stand up for these children, these parents that don't have no hope. They don't have no help. And all they depend on people that get elected to feel their pain, to feel their voice. Because they don't have a voice. That's why they depend on us to be the jolly black giant, because they don't have a green giant. They don't have the money. So they need a voice, Commissioner Cox. They need somebody to stand up for them. There ain't nothing we did have been perfect. We make mistakes. Mistakes are made to learn from. We learn from our mistakes. And this board has done everything they could to make amends the best they can, to shine the light on the truth. But the truth is stuck under the dust. I'm remorseful if I brought shame on this body, if I misled any commissioner up here, and I brought shame on Swag Nation. I apologize to everybody up here. I'm sorry. I'm remorseful. Commissioner Dominique, I'm sorry. Commissioner Thibodeau, I'm sorry if I brought remorse on this body. I'm sorry, Swag Nation, if I brought remorse on you. But if you forgive me the mistake I made, trying to do something good for the children. And I hope and pray that we'll continue the program to help those children. I'm grateful for what the support we received together. We created this together. Together, it wasn't no one man. It was very inclusive.
Wrap up, please.
I almost lived in Dallas, Texas, driving up this.
To extend. Second.
I drove to Dallas, Texas so much because I cared about these children, spent the nights in hotels, researched the globe to make something that this city could be proud of, Commissioner Lynn. I wanted to be proud of us. And America is proud of us. They won the National Achievement Award for the work they did. Not me. I was just a vessel, Commissioner Epperson. God planted a seed in me. I was just a seed in the vessel in the body he used. That was it. Other than that, that's all that role I played. I would not do anything but not coming before legal and coming before the administration, because I want it done right. I'm 55 years old. I didn't come down here to do things wrong. I'm wise and smart enough to know wrong from right. So everyone on this body, forgive me. I'm remorseful. Commissioner Escudé, I'm sorry. Commissioner, I'm sorry. 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 I brought shame on this body. I brought shame on Swag Nation and the citizens of District 3 and the Shreveport area for the negative publicity I brought. Trying to do something good and made an impact. Many kids have not returned back to that jail, to that juvenile detention center, because of the work we all done together. So I hope and pray that tomorrow I will be asking you to continue to support this. Commissioner Thibodeau, you didn't support it last time. There's a lot of things we can talk about But I want us to move forward, get a fresh start with this body. Without me, I'm gonna be the support. Whatever you do up here, I'm with you. Even though I'm not here, I support you. I'm not a dream killer. I'm not a hater. I'm a Christian. I forgive my friend despitefully use me. That's what God wants me to do. It ain't personal. So I ask for your wholehearted apology. Let's move forward. Let's support the reorganization structure of Swag Nation. You can have any closing comments, sir.
Well, I'd just like to say, we know what the program has done. And I just want to go back to Commissioner Thibodeau. If you did not support it in the beginning, I think you were the one, as I recall, it smelled fishy from the beginning, so you say. So I guess you still got that fishy odor in your nose, but I'm asking the rest of you to support this program because the children need this program. It's not about Commissioner Williams. It's not about Commissioner Thibodeau, who don't see the value in it. It's about the children. And once we can learn to take ourselves out of the way and see the full picture of the issue is we got children that are dying in the streets every day in Shreveport, Louisiana. And it's because of a lack of, and we oftentimes accuse leadership of not being proactive. They react. But there was a time, this time here you reacted, you were proactive to something, and now don't tear that down because of how you feel about Commissioner Michael Williams or how he got this through here, because if we want to talk about how people got things too, we can go back and talk about a lot of things, but we're not here to point finger and cast blame today. I'm here to just ask you to support this program. It's a much needed program. And if you know anything about this city and the youth in this city, you know that we need something to deter our young people. Now, the victim, Michael put his money in this program, his personal monies. I know for a fact, Commissioner Williams put up his personal money for this program. That being the here, the yonder. The point of the matter is, we need this program for these kids. And I'm not begging, I'm just making a statement for the kids. The kids need this program. It's not about us, it's about these kids. So if y'all will, find it in your heart to continue this program, we would be greatly appreciated. And we tried to restructuring to maybe to dim some of the negative that had been shined on this program. But to some people, I don't care what you do, the only thing that would work for them is for the program to be non-existent. So I thank y'all, and I pray that you all make the right decision. Thank you.
Still got some more commissioners. Commissioner Carter.
Yeah, I've been involved in youth activities, sports, mentoring for a number of years in this particular city. And I was afforded the opportunity to being able to go to Swag Nation's deal at the Rutherford House to teach a group of young men about business. It's a very positive experience, very positive exchange back and forth. And so on its face value, I think it's an excellent program.
Thank you.
Whatever legal issues that you guys will be faced with, they will be adjudicated in the judicial system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need to get into a subjective arguments back and forth about the merits of the program.
Mm-hmm.
What I will suggest that in any program, in any programmatic process, there's a vetting process as it relates to the results. I would admonish you guys to put down on paper, put pen to paper, your success stories. Who stayed out of jail, who got a GED, who graduated from high school, who got a job as a result of this program. Empirical data, because the subjective stuff we can go back and forth on. So I would like for you guys to put pen to paper and bring back some empirical data that shows the successes of Swag Nation on paper, and let's take it from there.
Clay Walker, could you come up?
I'm finished. Commissioner Thibodeau.
Let Clay come up.
Clay, as long as you're coming up, did I tell a lie that what you told me?
It should be.
What did you tell me that you would not have chosen that program, that you felt there were programs that would have been?
What I said specifically was that if this body chose to give me $100,000 to work with the program, that would probably not be the first thing I would do with that $100,000. That I've got other internal needs. But as I read the charter and the way y'all are in charge of policy. You decide which direction this body goes.
You've hired us, you've hired me to tell you as an expert in juvenile justice what works and what doesn't. So I give you that advice. With that $100,000, I've got some needs in detention, I've got some other needs that I would work with. The program, when we worked with it, everything, the legal issues aside, because we don't know anything about it. I didn't have anything to do with the money once it left. I mean, we said if there were 35 children in that class, I said if they were involved in juvenile court or not. That was it. What happened with the money, I don't know. But the program itself worked well. It started, I'm going to be real honest, it started much better and it faded a little bit. I've had other programs that have strong parts and weak parts. It got a little weaker at the end, but when it started, it was great. The ones that you went to,
Right.
The one in the very beginning, that I don't want to use a name because of the kids, but I remember a family where the mother got up, she had 2 sons, she's nearly in tears, talking about how this program truly changed her life. That during the weeks that they were in the program, her household was truly different. So it did do some good things. I'm not saying it didn't do some good work. It had about a 70% success rate in terms of kids coming back to the court. 30% came back, 70% didn't. Our average is about 80%, so it's a little below average. But I will say this is complicated. They worked with our toughest kids. They took every kid coming. They took all the Rutherford House kids. The Rutherford House kids, which was the last, no, I was there, sir. I was too. The last 6 months of the program, it was almost all Rutherford House kids. Those are kids that are in group homes. Those are kids that are in the deep end of the system. Those kids are coming back, and they generally come back. So it's a mixed bag. It was not our best numbers, but they were some of our worst kids. The summer program, if that's the one you're thinking of, there was a summer program that was lighter weight kids. But by and large, I'd say that was a program that took on some pretty hard kids. So, I mean, it was kind of a mixed bag. I would say it was a good program. I certainly wouldn't turn it down. I mean, the way you all work, if you bring me $100,000 for a program, I'm not going to say no, unless it's one where I would tell you I think you're harming the kids. If you brought a program and I thought it was a bad thing, I would recommend to you as a body we not use that. But by and large, I'd say it was a decent program. The legalities aside, it was a decent program.
That's the point I was making, was that you told me that had you had $100,000, that you would have spent it elsewhere.
That's true.
But you felt that you were obligated to have the program because it had been brought up off the floor, and that's what I objected to. It never went to a committee. It was never vetted. It came off the floor on a budget meeting, and there was enough votes to have it. So in fact, it wasn't even a SWAG Nation then. It was simply a program for etiquette. It was an etiquette program. SWAG Nation had not even been brought in it at the time it was brought up. It was just $100,000 that was transferred out of one fund into juvenile services. And then SWAG Nation ended up being the program. But if we as a commission choose a program for you, and like you said, unless it's going to harm kids, you're going to run that program, even though there may be needs greater for that same money.
He have developed. That's correct. That's correct. I mean, I see that as my job. You all get to choose the policy. You were elected. You choose the direction we go. We implement the program.
And I think I had asked you to compare the recidivism of the program to other programs, and that's where it was below average.
I did, and I put that together in a presentation of all the programs we refer to, maybe our top 25, and it was I say below the average of our programs. But as I say, it was difficult because it took our hardcore kids primarily, so that's a difficult position to be in.
Right, and I did go to one of the programs. I was invited to go to one of them to speak, and the kids I saw were not hardcore programs. They're not hardcore kids.
Depends on when, I mean, like I say, I think the empirical data, as Mr. Cawthorn points out, is kind of the most important to look at. You could go to some of those programs and some of the kids seem more lightweight. Some of them can trick you a little bit, although you did teach for a long while. You could probably see through that a little bit. But the bottom line is that I saw the list of kids, and the last several classes were literally at the Rutherford House itself. That's a tough group of kids. That's a deep-in group of kids. So
okay, well, the main point I'm trying to make here is that we're going to vet the program, and again, I'm not going to be here, but our obligation is not to spend parish money on something that, that has holes in it. And these holes need to be covered up, I would hope, before any other money is spent. And, you know, I say a lot of things that other people will not say, and Mr. Williams, that doesn't make me a liar. That makes me somebody that's willing to tell the truth. And that's what I do. I tell the truth.
If I say I'm gonna do something, if I didn't do something, I didn't do it. If I say I'm gonna vote for something, I'm gonna vote
the
for
one
something.
that got indicted.
Am I right?
Are you finished, Mr. Tibbetts?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Clay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next item.
Next, we move to reports, administration report.
President Johnson, Commissioners, good afternoon. We have 3 updates for you today. The first of which is Mr. Lawrence Guitry here to give us an update on the flood relief funds you all allocated for the recent flood this past summer. Okay. So, Mr. Guitry, you want to come and give us an update on where we are, sir?
Thank you. Lawrence Guidry, 4055 St. Vincent Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71108. I want to thank Commissioner Johnson and Administrator Wilson and the Commission for allowing me to come to give you a report on the flood assistance program. As you recall, back in July or whenever it was, or early August, you told me to come back when we spent $150,000 of the $750,000 appropriation. And I did pass out today a detailed expenditure of every dollar that was spent and who it went to, and it totaled to be $157,375.64. So forgive me for being $7,000 over budget. However, I just want to say that we did request an additional $100,000, which we've received, to take us to the end of the year. That will be up about $250,000 if we expend it all. Now, we have information that shows that we have $331,000 worth of need that we could spend if the individuals in these homes can get the work completed and done and pick up these materials. So out of the $750,000, it could go to $331,000, which it could go to. But we don't think that they'll get to using all of it or getting to it, especially by this December 31st deadline that we imposed because we said the program would end at the end of this year. So what we might have to do is extend it beyond, but we'll never reach the $750,000. We'll only reach maybe at the max $331,000 because they're not come forward now. We don't think that there will be any more requests coming forward. So with that said, I want to just say to you that we did this without any publicity. We've not had any media or what have you attention to it because that's up to you all. I think you all to be very, very commended for what you authorized. I want you to know that work closely with the staff, Mr. Wilson, the attorney, Ms. Frazier, every step of the way, getting information, making sure that we were dotting the i's and crossing the t's, so when the auditors come, every dime will be accounted for. So I want to say, but you all ought to be commended for doing it, and you should get the credit for it, and I think that if any news come out of it, it should come from the Parish Commission. That said, I'll answer any questions.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Yeah, Mr. Guidry, I just want to tell you this is the most transparent program we've ever had. This is the best reporting we've ever had, and I want to congratulate you for that. This truly accounts to the taxpayers what happened to the money, and I really appreciate the detail that you have it in because there's no question about where the money went. The only question I have is, do you feel like after the $331,000, you said, I didn't catch what you said, you asked for an additional how much?
I asked for an additional 100. That'll take us to 250. However, we do have a need based on the number of applicants who and what they qualify for, and that total reaches to $330,900. However, it's all about material and things, rental assistance and et cetera, that could possibly be used. However, based on our projections and the rate of way we're going, I doubt if some of these people will probably fall off the wagon, because some of these homes, they sit so long until they became, went from major or minor to major, major to destroyed. So some of those are going to fall off the table as we proceed and get closer to the end of the line. Because what happened was that when the volunteer, and there was a number of great volunteer organizations, I want to let you all know, working with the Red Cross has been a real delight to work with. And then I got to meet such organizations such as St. Vincent de Paul, which we already knew about them, the Catholic Charities, but First United Methodist Church, the Mormon Church, all pitched in and were going around and doing this mold abatement on a volunteer basis. But what ended up happening was that when the roofs was collapsed and what have you, and the abatement was done on one side of the house, and before they could get to the other side of the house to do it, because of the extra rainwater that came in since that time, more mold got into these homes than was initially out there. So therefore, those went from major to destroyed. That's what we're trying to access right now. So the Red Cross is back out in the field to see which one of these on the list that they issued certificates have gone from major to destroyed. And once it goes to destroyed, they come off the table except for 3 months rent, rental assistance at $500 a month.
I just want to tell you, excellent job.
Mr. Guidry, I want to thank you for what your organization is doing or have done as well. I know a lot of calls have come through me, and I've forwarded them to you, or complaints, concerns, issues, and within minutes, you call me back. This is what we got. Had a person to come back in, and we'll sit down with them, because a lot of people just really didn't understand what they were supposed to do and how they were supposed to do it. And your organization took out the time to go that extra step to fully explain to them what they can do, what they can't do, and how to help them 100%.
Right.
And it was a lot of the people that was affected was in District 2, District 3, and they called and on the back end, they've called and said, well, that was one of the best things that they were having CCAA working with them to get their homes back in order for them to move back in. And I appreciate all the work that you did to help expedite that, because like you just said, once you let that mold sit in the house, and then we had the long drought with all the heat and the humidity, it just would grow inside of a house. And we're working still at that house that's on A-line. It's the one with the roof that had caved in, and then it went from a major to now destroyed because of all the mold and mildew that's built up inside of that house. So I'd just like to say I thank you for all the work that you're doing in your organization, but staying on top of all of those claims at one time and working them through and doing them the best you can.
Well, I thank you, and I want to really thank Ms. Frazier for helping me every step of the way, whenever there was a legal question. Hey, I always call the lawyer and say, hey, send her the information, let her give me the information back, because we did have some persons who tried to, flaunt the system, but we were able to catch it and make sure that it was done in the correct way. And I think that's what you all
said. You stayed on top of those as well.
Right. And Administrator Mr. Wilson, I want to thank him too, because like I say, it was a team effort, folks. It just wasn't Lawrence Guidry. I want to make sure that my staff and what have you did it. And like I say, we did it because you asked us to do it. It was the right thing to do at the right time for the right reason. Thank you.
We got some more commissioners. Commissioner Epperson.
I pass.
Commissioner Bowman.
I just want to say briefly, thank you, Mr. Guidry, not just for this, but what you do and have done with CCAA. And I just think this is also a moment, not to brag, but this is a moment that I feel proud for the commission and administration and attorneys, because we did something that was not typical or that people expected from the organization. We do this a lot, and lately the commission, and though people see and certain people want to put negative things in the press, really, this is what it's all about, and this is what other people have us here for. And I'm just proud that we did do this, because we impacted lives, and you continue to do this like every day. on different other elements, but to take on this responsibility and everything so great with administration and even the ideas that you all came up with, and Mr. President, this was like really good. So I'm just honored and proud to be a part of it. And I think we should be commending and celebrate the good moments and not just the bad. Thank you.
Mr. Cox. The families that came up here that was on the, Michael, help me out, what was it?
Wills Island.
Wills Island Road.
How are they doing as far as a community as a whole?
Well, we were going to try to meet again before Christmas, and of course, I'm going to try to organize it in the next 10 days to make sure that everybody who is eligible come back in. We'll show them where they are and see where they need to be toward this $331,000 to see if there's anybody else who we know will actually use the money that they're eligible for.
Yeah.
That's number one. But by and large, the people who on the Wells Island Road, there's quite a number of them, got help, got the material, and they're rebuilding. I would say they're not getting the material all at one time, they're getting it as they need it. That's why the numbers, you know, don't match 331,000. They're getting it as they need it, because if they went and got it and wasn't living in the house, I mean, you'd be amazed at how much theft that went on. I mean, even vandalizing homes that got mold in it, taking people's windows out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all things that are out there right now. But the Wells Island Road folk, we will be meeting with them and the other ones in the Martin Luther King area and in the Allendale area that was affected, to see where they are, to make sure that they try to get to that number of what they need by the end of the year.
And I'll just touch real quickly on how this was handled. It was perfect. I at first had my doubts about the money going out, but after it was explained to me how it was going to be done, y'all have come back in and backed up everything that we asked you to do. And first off, I appreciate that. We do a lot of things for a lot of different organizations. Now, this in turn was not an organization. This in turn was people who were in need from a natural disaster. And as I look at the river today, I thought to myself, well, here we go again.
Here we go again.
So I want to say that, you know, as Caddo Parish as a whole stood up and was accountable for the people who needed help. And that doesn't go very far in the media, the good stuff. So when we have something that we can actually say we did this without caution to the wind because it was needed to be done, that's what I like about it. And having somebody your conviction to help the needy and keep doing it and see where it's going to be till it's over with. I couldn't ask for anything better, so I appreciate your time and your effort.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo everything been said in the room. When the federal government, the state, the city turned their back on people who needed help, who needed individual assistance, there was a Caddo Commission who stood up like champions for people that was hurting. We showed compassion. There's a time you got to go beyond your party affiliation and just have compassion for people. And that's what we did. We had individuals say, had not been for us, they wouldn't have got no help. So it's not nothing, you do this every day, you are a professional, and you have credibility. You always had credibility on what you do in helping those who've been downtrodden and poor and left out. So you're not new to this, you're true to this, as young people would say. So I'm proud that we, Ken Epperson Committee, that recommended it, that came out, we together, stood together, toe to toe, for people in time of need and despair. And God was watching us when we did that. So I'm proud of the historical landmark. I think it's a budget now. It's a budget that's never been created before. Came out of that committee. So I can't say enough about Commissioner Epperson's efforts and Commissioner Johnson, all of us together who stood toe to toe, standing up for poor people that had no voice. They were black, white, young, and old together that needed help. And we didn't turn our back on people. So I just want to commend this body of commissioners who showed compassion that day. And yes, you have always been accountable. It's not the first time. So we want to commend you on the work that you do and continue to work you do is out inside the entire parish of Caddo. So again, thank you.
Attorney Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Guidry publicly for being so wonderful to work with. He and his staff trained me, because whenever we were trying to figure out a problem, he and his staff were able to say, well, let's try this, or can we do this, or can we try this? And it made it so easy, and made it so pleasurable to work to get the job done. And I just wanted to let you all know that I'm not trying to create more work for him, but I just want to let you know what a outstanding job he did and how great he and his staff were to work with, and to thank him for that.
We may have put you in legal then.
Well, I want to, let me say, but it's a real credit to you, ladies and gentlemen that are here. I mean, you all stuck your neck out. No other parish or county in America in any flood situation that I can have tracked did what you all did. You put your money where your mouth was. It was a risk and it was a gamble, but it's one that's paid off, and you will be is well deserved and well rewarded for it. I mean, it's $150,000 now, perhaps $331,000. Well spent, well needed, and that's what this is all about: compassion for our fellow man and fellow ladies.
Okay, Commissioner Thibodeau.
I was just going to suggest that whoever chairs the NGO next year, that for years we've looked for a reporting document as a standard, and maybe we ought to give this to people, because this is the standard. This is absolutely the best I've seen, and we might want to use that as our standard. Even ask Mr. Guidry to give a little lesson to the NGO groups as to proper reporting, because this is excellent. Before I just want to say to Mr. Williams that he was primarily the guy that brought this forward, and he and I don't agree a lot on things, but he did a great job on this.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's it, Mr. Gibbs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much.
President, I believe you asked for some information with respect to the some things going on in the city of Shreveport.
Yes,
we invited Mr. Robert Westerman from the city of Shreveport, the engineer, to be here with us today.
Okay.
And Mr. Westerman, would you please come forward, sir?
Welcome to the good side.
It is a different group. Dr. Wilson, President Johnson, members of the commission, I'm here to answer some questions in response to some traffic studies that were performed by Michael Erland, who is our city traffic engineer, on behalf of the commission. And hopefully I can be a pseudo Mr. Erland and answer those questions for you. He had an unfortunate incident where he had to go and take his wife's car broke down, and he had to go rescue her.
Okay. I kind of had two intersections that I was asking about, some traffic lights or some type of traffic to try to mitigate people from sitting at a corner too long.
Yes, sir.
Not be able to turn. One of them was at MLK turning on to North Market heading north.
Yes, sir.
There's lights on all the other three intersections turning left. There's an arrow for each one except for that one. And his reply I really didn't like too well, because it started out that there wasn't enough accidents at that corner to prohibit to put a light there. And so, you know, I don't think that you should have a bunch of accidents to say, well, we might need a light here. It should be based upon something else. So my first question to you is, what's your process to determine if you need a turn signal at an intersection?
Normally, the warrants for that type of signal are established by the manually uniform traffic control devices. There are several things in there that specify you have to achieve certain values in certain levels before it is considered to install that type of facility. And in this particular case, the accident rates that Michael referred to are primarily rear-ender accidents. These are going to happen whether there's a turn signal or not.
Right.
The accidents that they study with relationship to turn signals are the T-bone type accidents, or the sideswipe type accidents. And there's not enough accidents of that type at that particular intersection that would help warrant a turn signal. In addition to that, one of the things that he does look at, and he studies very carefully, is what they call, it's an upchurch method for evaluating the intersection. In other words, how many left turn movements do you have within a given cycle? If it's less than 2, according to this method, we don't analyze the intersection anymore because there's insufficient turning movement to warrant that signal.
Well, I know for sure that the one that's MLK turning on to North Market is, in that turning lane, is more than 2 each cycle. There's more than two cars, sometimes there's 4 to 6 cars in that cycle. And you're getting more and more traffic because when I-49 opens up, you'll have people coming off that exit and possibly going that way and turning left. And so you got on Revendale coming on to North Market, you got a left turn signal on that. And on both sides of North Market, you got turn signals. But you don't have the one from MLK turning going north. And there's other reasons to go that way now because of the Walmart that's being built and the other businesses that are opening up. So there's other reasons to go that way besides going right. And I just think that, you know, we should be proactive in this instead of reactive and waiting till somebody get T-boned a couple times to say, well, we need a light.
Yes.
So that was my first one that I wanted to talk about, and to see if y'all would reconsider or whatever and put a turn arrow on that particular side of the four lanes.
Yes,
sir. The next one is the North Lakeshore to Huey Huckabee.
Yes, sir.
Right there has been a number of accidents, a number of T-bones, with people turning left, going up here, Huey Huckabee heading toward Blanchard. And sometimes what it is cars are coming faster than what they can actually judge, and they're getting hit. Traffic is high between 6 and I would say 9 o'clock, and then you have your noonday traffic, and then you have your evening traffic in the evening time. So the only time that you really don't have that much traffic is late at night. But people coming out of the neighborhood trying to turn left, I mean, sometimes it's a wait to make that turn in order to go out. So I don't know what you can put there. I mean, you have a light at Huey Huckabee and David Raines.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, they just wanted to make sure that that's also considered as well.
Well, at David Raines and Hillary Huckabee, you have a higher traffic count. And that's one of the things that they look at as far as the side street. The side street of North Lakeshore Drive coming underneath the railroad track is a limited amount of traffic from that standpoint. It doesn't have the same requirements up there at David Raines. However, in talking with Michael, perhaps there may be more problem with sight distance with relationship to that intersection in so much it is a traffic count.
Okay.
And that needs to be looked at is what needs to be done in order to improve the sight distance for the traffic. I think clearing some excess area or excess right-of-way and stuff along this line would help that more so than anything else in the world.
Okay. Are you also the person I can talk to about storm drains?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is that? Rosenwall. It's in the MLK neighborhood. That just flooded recently. That drainage ditch that runs in front of it.
Yes, sir.
Between it and Huey Huckabee, it's overgrown.
Yes, sir.
So that water now that can't flow smoothly through there, it bags up. And when it bags up in the yard, and eventually it can get into the homes.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, do we have a plan? Do y'all have a plan to clear that out so that the water will flow through there?
Unfortunately, Rosenwall subdivision is a private street, private drainage subdivision. They wanted to keep it that way where there were no public facilities on that particular subdivision. Now, I've asked my assistant city engineer in charge of drainage to look at the subdivision and see if there's something outside of those limits that could be done to help assist them. But until they resolve their own issues with their facilities, what we do on the outside may or may not help them, but we are looking into that.
Okay. Because I think if you clear that drainage out in the back of those homes,
yes,
that runs parallel with Huey Huckabee,
yes, sir,
that water will run and run away.
Well, that's a fairly flat ditch.
Yeah.
So that is something they'll have to be looking at very carefully.
Commissioner Watts has some questions for you as well.
Yes, sir, thank you. On, my issue is in the Buncombe and Pines Road area, where there's no turn signal turning left. If you're traveling south on Pines Road, turning east onto Buncombe Road.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have had several traffic accidents there already. My question is, what time of day is this study done?
Normally, they look at the peak hour flows. It's usually in the morning and the afternoons, and they look at the traffic counts during those peak hours. Okay, they look at how many left turns are made each cycle during that peak hour. And normally a cycle is about 90 seconds, so they're looking at how much traffic makes a left turn within those cycle times. The Pines Road Buncombe Road intersection is also right now undergoing some pressure because of the resultant construction being done to Woolworth Road Bridge. That project is about 95% complete. We hope to have the street reopened here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and with that in mind, then some of that pressure that's at that particular intersection may be relieved.
I don't think so. That's not an issue with the construction, because this is something that's been ongoing, and maybe between the hours of 6 and 8 is really heavy.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
really when people are getting off of work, picking up their kids, and sometimes you sit through 4 to 5 lights waiting to turn, unless you're going to be one of those accidents that happen. So I think that my study needs to be redone.
Certainly, I'll get with Mr. Erland on that and be glad to speak with him about that and ask him to look at those numbers again from that standpoint.
Would you please?
And certainly we can go from there. Yes, ma'am, be more than glad to.
Okay, and I also have a flooding situation on the Buncombe Road. It's on the right side if you're traveling from 70th. There, I'm not sure if that's city, or I sent a email out to Mr. Glass today about some flooding in the area. You may haven't got it yet. But there's some flooding that is going on the right side of the street. I know on the left side there are some issues of who it belongs to, but on the right side, there are some flooding issues. Last week when the big rain came, it was basically you couldn't get out into Buncombe Road without flooding your vehicle. So there may be some clearing issues that need to happen on that side as
Yes, ma'am.
well.
And that's on the east side of Buncombe Road,
Yes.
south
Of 70th.
70th Street. Okay. That's behind that old churchyard, isn't it? What? Wrong one.
What is that?
That's the Gilmore Bilateral.
The Huntington Lake Estates?
Yeah, those
Huntington Lake
condominiums.
Estates.
Okay, that's part of that Gilmore Bilateral system, and most of that ditch is within parish property.
Okay.
But certainly anything that we can do to help out, I mean, we're more than glad to look at, but I'll be glad to have them look into that.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Commissioner Cox.
You've done excellent.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
So, drainage ditches, okay? Mansfield Road, where you got the Triple J, service station.
Yes, sir.
There's a ditch there that is contracted out by the city to a lawn service, or who cuts our right-of-ways and stuff like that. City don't do that no more as
No,
much
sir.
as they used to.
No, sir.
They have, over the years, and I've talked to this with my councilman, and it seems like he's not getting anything done, so since you're here, they have let this ditch grow for about 4 years.
Okay.
Now, it's to the point where they'll cut it, and they'll come up about 3 foot every time they cut. So they went from the ditch to about 12 feet out.
Yes, sir.
And now, over the years, you've got everything that's grown in that ditch. And we've had flooding problems in that area of Hawthorne and Torrento because of the ditch that's out on Mansfield Road. So if you could get somebody to look at that and explain to me the contract with the people who are cutting the grass. If they don't want to cut it, my opinion is cut that contract.
Yes, sir.
But that's the city, not the parish. So anything you can help us on with that would surely be appreciated, because one, it's an eyesore.
Be more than glad.
And I appreciate your time today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau, very popular today.
Yeah,
This is last.
I'm talking too much.
My fault. I was asking insight.
Wallace Lake Road and the Southern Loop, I know the Wallace Lake Road is Parish, but Southern Loop is city.
Yes, sir.
And the real problem there is you've got all kind of traffic that's coming off of Norris Ferry and out of those subdivisions, trying to go down to I-49.
Yes, sir.
And the big problem is really early in the morning, people going to school and going to work. And it's just an accident looking for a place to happen. And I know we've asked the city before to look, I think y'all have looked before to put a light there.
Yes,
Is there something that you can put there just for certain hours of the day? I mean, the real problem is an hour and a half a day, but it's a big, big problem during that time.
Commissioner Thibodeau, the problem with that is it has a tendency to create a certain amount of disrespect for the signal during the off times that it's not needed.
Well, can't you cut the signal?
I wish I could.
I mean, you can it be put on, I've seen signals after certain hours, they go off.
They go flash. Yes.
Flash, yeah.
And that's fine when you're dealing with off hours, say at the middle of the night or stuff like that. Yes, sir. But when you start doing that during the middle of the day, then you run problems during those peak hours that traffic is going through that intersection. They've become so accustomed to it being a blinking light that they just go right on through the thing without even thinking about it.
Well, at that time in the morning, they won't be able to go right through it, believe me.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you've got probably 3,000 or 4,000 cars that are packing in there, in an hour and a half time. And,
yes, sir.
And that's really the only time of the day it's really terrible, but
yes, sir.
it's people really get impatient. And I don't know what can do. Maybe the police can put on.
The things we've talked about is a traffic circle at that particular intersection, in consideration for something of that type of facility instead of a light.
Well, anything to where people can move.
Yes, sir.
Traffic can move. Y'all could look at that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Watts?
Thank you, Mr. President. Second time around. On Midway, it's now elementary, pre-K to 3rd grade. And once upon a time, it was a junior high school on Greenwood Road.
Yes, ma'am.
We have these babies now that are crossing this busy major Highway 80, and the speed limit is 25 miles per hour for the school zone.
Right.
I'm sure that was zoned for the bigger kids. Is there any way that it could be zoned at 15 miles per hour?
We can ask the state. They're the ones that are going to dictate that speed limit. But we can push for certain requests through them to see if we can't lower that any further than 25, but it's going to be their call.
Okay. Would you, because it's a very scary situation to watch those babies cross the street, and the drivers are very disrespectful of the 25 mile per hour as it is, the security, the crossing guards, everybody's blowing whistles trying to get people to slow down, and I know we just don't have.
And it may be a matter of enforcement issues if the Shreveport Police Department were out there somewhat on a regular basis. That might help that situation considerably, considering that fines are doubled during school zones.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, and I have already asked for that as well. They did it one day.
Yes, ma'am.
And not been back out there since, but the same thing is still going on.
We can certainly submit the request to see if they will consider it on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Commissioner Escalante.
I just want you to know I appreciate what you do. I think you do an outstanding job.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, sir.
I lived with school in Lafayette for 12 years, and you don't get anywhere fast. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. And if you want to appreciate what you have over here, go over to Bossier and try to do something anytime during the day. So I think in a large part here, we're spoiled.
Well, the city and the parish have done quite well in coordinating a transportation plan for this particular area. And we're in the process of getting ready to update that with a thoroughfare plan, and certainly that will help assist into those areas.
Right, I understand that. But I tell you what, with, in all relativity, you can go to, hell, Alexandria's worse.
Yes,
for a city our size, as spread out as we are, you can get anywhere. You don't stop more than 2 light cycles unless there's an emergency or something. We're very fortunate, so I'm glad we're in such good shape that we can just kind of get down and nitpick But I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, we like to brag on the fact that we like to say that you can get anywhere in Shreveport in about 20 minutes.
You can. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
You gotta come north Caddo.
You might change your rim up on these bad streets, but you
Y'all got streets?
Yeah, President Johnson, may give you an update on the legal outcome. So Attorney Frazier, you go ahead and briefly commission on the Sapphire case, please.
Sure. Commissioners, about 3 weeks ago, we received notice that the Supreme Court of Louisiana denied writs in the Sapphire Land Company case. To just give you a little background and to bring you up as to why that is important, about 2.5 years ago or so, we were sued by someone who attempted to, or who purchased property that the parish had already given an oil and gas lease on. And their contention was that instead of being able to lease the property and receive the royalties and production profits from it, that we should have been holding that money in trust for the actual property owners, which just turned out to be them at this point, once they went back and attempted to buy it from the original landowners. And there is a provision for that in the adjudicated property section of the law, but it's actually geared towards parishes who actually act as landlords and try to rent out properties and that kind of thing. It should not apply to mineral leases, which is what we argue. So we won that argument at the trial court. I did that work, and then the matter was appealed to the Second Circuit, which Mr. Bernstein did that work. And the Second Circuit agreed with us, and then the opponent appealed it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court refused to hear it, which means we won.
Yay! Good job. Y'all working.
Amen.
You earning your money.
You earned your keep.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Thank you, Attorney Bernstein, as well. Shout us out.
Commissioner President, I'm sorry.
You got a question on
No, after you finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last issue I have, I believe Commissioner Dominic asked me to write a letter to all of the landowners in the TIF district area, and that letter will go out this afternoon, notifying them of the proposed action by the commission, and also let them know when the public hearing will take place with respect to that issue.
There are no houses in the...
Our residents, all the businesses and residents in that area.
It's businesses.
The
There are
landowner.
no residents in the area.
Right. Actually, what I'm referring to is the records that the tax assessors have mailed to goes to a residential area for the landowner that own that land.
Okay.
So we sending out 19 letters this afternoon, notifying all the property owners within the TIF district of the imposed TIF district establishment by the commission.
Okay, thank you.
All right? That's my report, sir.
Who's your report? Okay, Commissioner Lynn had a question for you.
Dr. Wilson, would you ask representatives from CenterPoint Energy, one representative to come to the meeting at their convenience, hopefully within the next couple of meetings, to discuss the procedure that they're going to go through? Right now, they're digging holes in front of everybody's property, replacing a gas line. As far as bringing their property back to normal, they are also moving gas meters to the front of the house, and I believe putting an electronic sensor on it so the truck can drive past their house and pick it up electronically. When they move that meter to the front of the house, are they going to be responsible for running the gas line to hook it up the way it originally was, or will people have to call in a plumber to do it? And if they are, or if they're not, are they going to pressure test these lines?
Okay. We'll have them at your next meeting, sir.
Thank you.
Well,
that's all.
Question Epperson.
Mr. Wilson, would you check with NACO as far as nominating our Red River Flood and Relief Program for a NACO Achievement Award?
Yes, sir. I think that the application process starts in January, and they select in April of next year. But we certainly will consider putting that in.
That's all.
Interested. Dr. Wilson, don't forget about the Comcast representative that's supposed to come by to you.
Okay. Okay. What meeting?
Regular meeting.
Regular meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Next item.
Next we move to communications and committee reports.
I don't think we got none. Mr. Dominique.
Yes, I got one thing I may have. Is Mr. Dumashay here?
He
was.
President.
Where'd he go?
He woke
Yeah,
up.
Robert last. Robert can talk. Talk to Robert.
Robert, come here.
He can't hear you. Come here.
Mr. Glass, please approach. Translation.
Sound like one of them old turds.
He must really have a problem.
Come here.
Appreciate it.
You cleaned up.
Mr. No.
Dr. No.
Hey, coming into town, there's a business called First Choice on North Market. We need to contact someone with the city. It's at the 3500 or North Market. I don't know if, I guess it's in your district, Commissioner
It's in
Williams.
the city.
Huh? It's in the city. Can you contact somebody in the city? I mean, they got junk out there by the road that they've been cleaning up, and it's been there for several weeks, and with the rain, it's just kind of getting there all over the place.
We can contact somebody.
Somebody needs to do something about that. It looks terrible.
We can contact them, at least get it to them.
All right, thank
Is it
you.
on the east side or the west side?
On
On the west side of the road.
the west side.
You can't miss it.
You seen it?
Yeah.
You said you couldn't miss it.
Thank you. Commissioner Cox.
Todd, before tomorrow, can y'all working on this machine again, because it's not working
Is
again.
it blinking or what?
Yeah, it's been blinking and that's stuck and there's no mouth to it. I'd like to have it before the rest of my last little tenure here.
We will work to try to take care of that, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next item.
That might be a needed thing.
Next we have President's Report.
I yield to Thursday.
Next we move to old business. We have none. We move to new business. Zoning case appeal SP 9915 replat. Property located south of Harris Lane, approximately 126 feet south of Harris Lane, and 550 feet east of Goldsberry. Mark Ratley applicant, Leonard Farms and Camterra Resources appellates.
Move Thursday.
Second by Commissioner Thibodeau. Second by Commissioner Bowman. You don't want to wish to speak, let's vote. That passes 12-0 to move to Thursday.
Authorize resolution number 69, authorizing an amendment to resolution number 65 of 2015.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner White. Commissioner Thibodeau.
I can Globo resolution 69, 70, and 71.
Second.
It's been moved to englobo resolutions number 69, 70, and 71. Commissioner Evers.
Just wanted to mention resolution number 71. I don't know if you all familiar with what's basically trying to happen. Have a nonprofit that's putting in a proposal to bid for the administration of the Head Start program. And I think we all have seen a testament as to the leadership and administration of the Caddo Parish Commission and Caddo Community Action Agency administering the Head Start program for the past 50 years. So you can imagine what I said when I saw that application. I'd also like for you to note that this entity has also tried to apply for 2 other Head Start programs. I think one in Natchitoches Parish and
Webster. I think it was Webster.
Webster and Natchitoches Parish, and they failed. So we strongly oppose to that.
Commissioner Dominic.
Yeah, I was just going to say I appreciate that. I talked to Mr. Guidry. I saw it on the agenda, so I was asking him about it beforehand. That's what he was telling me also.
And my other comments to add on to both of them is that, you know, the organization is housed in Bossier City, which is Bossier Parish. So, I mean, we have organizations in Caddo that can do it, so there's no need to include with something that's in Bossier Parish to come over here and run for us. Let's vote.
Mind your own business.
Take out your own trash. That passes 11-1.
He's just trying to shake it up.
Is that correct, Mr. President?
I don't want to take advantage of us.
right, next item.
Next, authorize the nomination to Caddo Parish Wall of Distinguished Service. Authorize nomination of Ms. Joyce Bowman.
Moved by the chair.
Second.
I think that's unanimous, huh?
That's you, we got you.
Moved by, second by Commissioner.
Bowman. That Bowman, that's his better. All right.
See no one that wishes to speak on that.
Y'all gonna put us on that B. Cox and Escadale there too, right?
We'll remove y'all's name from everything.
Wall of shame.
Let's vote.
Cut off guard.
Don't look out for me, Mike.
You didn't
That
read
passes
this.
12-0.
Final appointment will be January 7th, 2016. Next, we have authorize Catherine Pace as a visitor for regular session Thursday.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, and second by Commissioner Epperson to have Ms. Pace come to be a visitor. See no one that wishes to speak, let's vote. That passes 12-0.
Next, we have consent agenda.